Hello and welcome. Today we are going to talk about long skirts and showing where it is on the body and the words that explain it and how to use it. By using pictures that explain, as you can see on the screen in front of us. Now this drawing shows the bottom side of the body, and the front part, and the back side, and the side in 3D, and it shows the position of the skirt on the body. Now we will know the sizes that we will need to make sure our work is done on the pattern for the long skirt. What we need here is the circulation of the waist. And also, we need to know the circulation of the hips. And we talked about these in detail in our last lesson. And also, we will need the height of the skirt and knowing the height of it, from up to down. And we used some of these words to make the applications easier. Instead of the circulation of the waist, we replaced it with the line of the waist. Also the hip line. Also the side line. And the side line is the side line for the skirt that will be applied on this figure. And this is called the end of the skirt line. And of course, the bottom line of the skirt till the top is changeable. And what decides it is the actual body that's being used. These lines available on the skirt, there is a line in the middle of the skirt. And there is an invisible line usually in long skirts. And it's called the middle line for the front. And this line is usually used in the pattern applications. That is very needed. Notice here the back part for the pattern looks like the front part a lot. But the front middle line is not available and it is invisible. But the back line is indeed available. And we use it to apply a zipper on the top part to make wearing it easier. But the bottom part, where the back flap is, and it's available there to make walking easier and more roomy, that usually wear these skirts. Now, before we start with the pattern, we will check out this picture. Here the example we will be using. The skirt size is 38 centimeters. That means 38, half the size of the waist. The size is 38 centimeters. So if half circulation of the waist is 38 centimeters, and half circulation of the hips is 50 centimeters, and the height of the side is like what we see here from the waist till the hips, between 18 to 20 centimeters. And the height of the skirt depends on the model, which is usually 70 centimeters. Here there's an important information in the pattern applications. And we notice in this drawing in front of us, the front part is divided by two sides. Is the middle front, which is the same line that we are going to use to execute. Notice the right side of the skirt, which is the front part, is symmetrical to the left side. And so if two sides are perfectly matched, so we only need to draw the right side to make things a lot easier for us. Notice this picture. We cut this part, the right, and we put it horizontally so we can have this middle part in front of us, which presents the work. Here's the waistline and here's the hip line. Visible now. This is the side line of the skirt. And this is the skirt hem. And in the applications, we only use a quarter of it for applicating it. On the same sizes, so if we're going to use a quarter of it, so if it's 38, all of this is 38. So if we're only using a quarter, we will only need half of this space, which is 19 centimeters, and half circulation of the hips, and we will only be using it for 25 centimeters. And hopefully now we will start the steps all together. We'll come here, and this is the front middle line, which also represents the work line. We make a straight line for 70 centimeters, and we name it from point A to B. After that, to line AB, which is the front middle line, we add the point G, and it is between 18 to 20 centimeters. The A point, to G, to B, the hip line. On the line A, G, and B, as it is in front of us by a picture. This line is called the waistline, and this is the hip line. This is the end line of the height of the skirt. After that, now we measure the three lines in front of us. Line A with an open A is 19 centimeters. Then there's line G to open G, which is quarter circulation of the hips, measures to 25 centimeters. And the line from B to G makes quarter size of the hips, minus 1 centimeter, which means, so that means the height from B to B open makes quarter of the hips, which equals from G to G open, minus 1 centimeter for the body's look. After that, we put the height of the lines A to A open, G to G open, and B to B open. Side line connects from open A to open G in a curvy line like what's shown. And G open to B open is straight with, notice that this green line here is a demonstration line that goes through the hip line, and it is parallel to the lines A and G and B. And the goal for this line is that when we draw the side of the skirt, it should not exceed the green line because the biggest circulation is on G. Notice here, after we drew the side line and the differences between heights of A to A open and G to G open, and the differences between height from here to here, the big percentage cause a big angle here, and it is usually unwanted because it will show during wearing it on the side. That's why we have to make it more less. Now we will solve the problem on G, the unwanted curve here. It was already sized from A to open A, equals to 19 centimeters, and G to open G equals to 25 centimeters. So the difference between is 6 centimeters, and it is a big difference. And the little space between A and G, and because of this difference, it caused the unwanted curve there. So how do we solve it? We must reduce the waistline and hip line. And so we can reduce it, we must add something new, which is the value of the top opening, which is 3 centimeters, which means the waistline is A to open A, instead of 19, it has been added 3 centimeters, which makes it 22 centimeters. And it's now a new point, which is A to open A. Here it is, which means this space between A to open A is 22 centimeters, and G to open G is 25 centimeters, and the difference between them is 3 centimeters. So when it's 3 centimeters, the curve between A to open A and G is now good looking. Now we have an edit in the waistline, which is A and A open. We are gonna edit it by increasing the open and by 1 centimeter. And we add the points here. After that, from S, we make a curvy line till it arrives to the point A, as it is in the picture. After finishing this edit, we will locate the opening of this top part, and the center of it should be in the middle of A and A opening, like what's in front of us on the screen. But to decide of the height of the opening flap, the height depends on the value of the flap, which means notice how where it was less, the flap was less. When it increased, the flap increased, and like that. So it has increased at the bottom. The right side from the pattern of the zipper, and like what we saw in the previous pictures from this lesson, we found out that the right side is symmetrical from the left side. And since they are perfect, we can finish this part and get this look in the finale for the right part from the long skirt. Now we have finished the front side of the long skirt. Hopefully, we have made this very useful for you guys, and thank you so much for listening.